Looks like you got some gold.
All right, let's see. Skeleton dude is OP. Ravager, who repeatedly spawn tank cost minions for free as their perk, as if that was somehow remotely balanced. 100 hours of playtime or $20. Enough stuff to compete. Alright, let's see if you really need that much stuff to compete, or do you just need a bit of skill and patience instead? Gotta put my 2v2 brain on. Well, which one are they? Wave potential. I guess it's these guys. Oh yeah, okay. Kivash, Signa, Naval, Fishy. I think I'll start with this one because this seems like an aggro combo. Oh wow. Let's see, Jackia, let's see if there was truly nothing they could do. I wanted to start with this actually because it's more control than this, which seems like aggro cheese. So let's start with Radbo Diona. I will do everything that I usually do when I present 2v2 reviews.
Get dueling.
Should I go all out? I don't. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and maybe give some tips and not only deconstruct everything they're doing. So, alright, let's get out of the way. Alright. First things first, Dex and the early game. Now, I suppose Morelia's the one with these, and Apep is the one with... How can you complain about Brutus when you have a curse bearer? Alright, whatever. So, first thing you should do when you're entering a match like that is, well, first of all, you look at the enemy masters and you consider what they might be doing. So, these two are definitely gonna have cheaper cards to easily contest the bridges with, or rather, fight for bridges early on. Two cost cards like... the Swarmers, Scrat Pack, and then you go into Elite Swarmers, Stint, Rocket Scrat, Tantrum Throwers. I see you have a lot of those already, so that's decent. Then you consider, look at both of your hands, look at what is available, Some cards are extremely good to play first, such as, I don't know, Activated Lost Legionnaires would be the best card in my opinion to start with. If you guys are going for control and have those cheaper cards, then you might want to play first to make the enemy, sometimes they panic and freeze and do nothing, or they also often panic and play cards that cost 4, 5, 6 early on, which gives you an easy counter at the start. So if you are confident in your ability to control and have a vast enough selection of low-cost cards from the start, then I suggest that you start after both of you have done the initial check of looking at all the cards and then maybe waiting until 5 or 6 mana at most to see if the enemy plays something fast, like Swarmers. But at that point I would suggest that since you're both looking like you want to control, then I would suggest going quickly with like an Elite Swarmer at the top. One of you could start. That leads into the enemy playing something in a reaction to that. Things that beat Elite Swarmer, not that many for 2 cost. I guess it becomes really like 3 cost territory here, or 4 cost split in the center. Kinda. But yeah, Elite Swarmer is a solid first play, so I would begin with that almost instantly at 5 or 6 mana once you've done the initial check. Then afterwards, the general gameplay is pretty much, well, all that matters is the bridges. Everything can be defended against. That is the 2 premises of scaled gameplay, especially in 2v2s. In 2v2s it's much easier to defend than in solos. In solos you get overwhelmed by a mistake. In 2v2 you have 2 Master Towers attacking, and you have 2 decks of the cards and 2 abilities to rely on, alternate one after the next. As long as you don't trickle into the enemy death balls, then you're good. So, first thing, I would either play Elite Swarmer top or... but I say top because I love top lane. You can play bottom if you want. Marines are fragile and get countered by a lot of 2-cost cards. But yeah.
None of them.
See, that's what I mean. They did instantly play that. So now you must assess quickly.
Silence.
That's a small card, it splits. Okay, therefore Elite Swarmer beats that. One of you should play top and then the other play bottom. An Elite Swarmer in each lane, or you could instantly play Plasma Marines in the center. That stint is completely useless. One sec. Okay, I'm back. That was 1 sec. Alright, so this stint right here is completely useless. Whichever of the 2 played it was completely in the wrong, no matter what. If it was a person that plays the Scrat Pack, then they are now at 2 mana for no reason. If it's the other one, then that was pointless, because they can wait to 10 mana before playing anything. They didn't need to play that stint at all. You guys should have played an Elite Swarmer or Plasma Marines by now to kill these, because you want to contest the bridges as early as possible. That's kind of what I was saying earlier about freezing up and not knowing what to do. It's very important to play on the bridge early so that your minion walks on top of the bridge and contests it. It's very difficult. The timing is pretty tough with the reaction time needed for it, especially against Swarmers, but Scrats are a bit slower, I think. Might be their smaller hitbox. But yeah, an Elite Swarmer in each lane would have countered that and would have gotten bridges and started well. Instead, you're waiting. That's fine. That's the correct answer, although you saw that they played stint in this lane, so you should have quickly switched back to bottom bridge for this Elite Swarmer. Because right now they have a thread that they can build upon, not a big thread, but still a thread that they can build up on to recontest the bridge that you're about to get. Whereas if you had played it bottom, this stint would have been useless anyway. And they would have had to play more to support whatever they want to use to break through your Elite Swarmer. And that's exactly what happens. You don't need to wait until the threats are on your face. If it's something that kills the enemy's presence quite fast, like an Elite Swarmer versus 3 Scrats, then you should play it on the bridge. However, if it's like, I don't know, you're playing a Defenso Chopper versus a Scotty, you know, there's a legendary card, then you don't want to stall him on the bridge for 5 years, you want to fight him next to your face. Alright, so at this point, if you had Chain Lightning, or Bear Avalanche, by the way, which are offensive spells, You could have been hovering that over here knowing they would add more to the stint, and as soon as you saw the Jolo you could have cast either Chain Lightning or Bear Avalanche to shut these down. It would have been worth it because it kills, well, 3 mana. The stint was kind of useless at that point, but let's say it kills 5 mana's worth, and it gets you the bridge. That's the important part. So you would have gotten about 4 or 5 mana value from a spell that costs 4. I say that the bridge is worth 1 mana to grab, by the way, or to deny. Now, here's the big mistake you make. You are playing the same unit into the same unit plus something else. That thing is not really gonna win. You probably need Plasma Marines here. Next, these Plasma Marines here at the bottom are useless. Because you didn't know they had a Jolo coming, you just played those Marines because you thought, I have a tank in front, let's put range DPS at the back. That's not how it works. This game is about countering what the enemy does. It's not about creating your little army and watching it do whatever and hoping that the enemy plays into your things. So these Plasma Marines were not needed at all. That person who played them should have just waited. Plus, a big strength of the Plasma Marines is that you can't split them, so it's ideal to at least split them when you have a chance. Luckily for you, they played a Jolo instantly, which is countered by Plasma Marine's fast attack speed. So don't complain about Jolo being a legendary here. Okay, the bridge buddies. Now I'm starting to get a feel for what's going on here. So the enemy saw that and they played a legendary Veilstalker. So they paid 4 mana for this to shut down whatever you just placed here. So that's fine, it's not the end of the world, but at the top lane you messed up also. Now, instead of backing down and waiting it out, you triple down on your mistakes by playing Bridge Buddies. Completely pointless. These Bridge Buddies cost 2 mana, sure, they put 1 Scrat, the weakest unit in the game, that accomplishes nothing and dies to a sneeze. You could have just done nothing. That's what you can tell yourself most of the time in this game, is that doing nothing is the best option. These Bridge Buddies will accomplish nothing. Veilstalker and Jolo will kill bottom lane. This Jolo and Stint will kill top lane. See? You could be at 5 mana instead of 3 mana now and nothing would have changed. Now, Veilstalker, you need to read her card and understand how to counter her. She is counterable. It's not the end of the world. Here with your... The way to counter her is to get her to teleport over to something that easily tanks her and kill her with your Master Tower. Meanwhile, this guy can use Walking Blind Date to back cap these by placing it about at the top here corner. That's not really ideal because the enemy has decent amount of mana available to counter it along with their presence here, but yeah, you don't need to play at the moment. See, that's decent. That was a good use of Walking Blind Date for 2 reasons. It dealt with the Veilstalker correctly, made her waste 1 mana with a sweep. Good thing she wasn't on this side or else she would have jumped back on the bridge. And well, it captured the bridge, so that's good. Now, here's the... Oh my god, you got extremely lucky here. This is a 3-cost card, Groggy Woodsman, which is supposed to start with half health. But that didn't get past Q&A, so... That did get past Q&A, I mean. And now you get a 600 health instead of 300. These 2 Tantrum Throwers were not needed. You just are placing too much mana at once, plus you should have placed Proper Scrats if you absolutely want that Veilstalker dead, but she's not a threat anymore. You have the bridge, so it's whatever. At least wait until you see what you get from that. Now is the time you should wait, because the enemy hasn't played in a while, whereas you have. And holding 1 bridge is totally fine when you're trying to recuperate from a bad situation. Don't try to press the advance too much, or else you're gonna get countered in both lanes. Oh my god, it's Zip Zappinator, I'm so afraid. So as soon as they play... Oh my god, why do you have 2 Proper Scrats? They're so bad. So as soon as they play an expensive cards like that, now would be the ideal time to switch over to the other lane with a 2-cost card, like a Stint, to cap the bridge. Unfortunately, you are heavy on stupid Proper Scrats, so you don't have that option. That's fine. That works also. Now, what you should be doing is totally give up on bottom lane. If you don't have a... well, the beam would have been nice instantly, by the way, but you didn't have that. So if you don't have anything to really shut down the enemy's defense, ignore that lane. Focus your attention upon top lane. Build something new in that lane. You should be like hovering proper scratch here since you're about to reach 10 mana. I don't know who you is, by the way. I'm considering player 1 to be the you and them as the player 2 as them. So you should be hovering proper scratch, then as soon as you hit 10.5 mana or so, then you could send them. That should be the next card, because the lower the cost of a card is, the less you expose yourself to being punished, and that's a huge part of the game.
Roll out the big gun.
Or about when your unit is here is about when the enemy starts placing defense, so about here would be when you could place a proper scratch, for example. Because playing in them at this moment or so means that the worthy scratch will be tanking masters. By the way, when you reach 10 mana, it doesn't mean that you've capped out. You get your next mana tick in about 2 seconds or so. So you can actually wait 1.5 seconds before you play again. See, you're focusing in the lane where there's a massive threat. You should not at all play in this lane. Playing into this lane is pure death. There's a Zappinator there. You don't play into that. You wait until it's on your side. You don't play a Marshal there. You should have played your Marshal at the top left here in the corner. That is because you don't want to fight this, especially not on that side. You want to make your own thing happen and build upon your own cards. You don't want to give value to the enemy. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. Yo, a chain goal. Alright, so you are playing into the enemy's threat. A bad move. Should be playing the top left. I made a fucking graph recently, mostly as a joke, but it shows literally exactly this. Fuck off, Imgur, I don't care. What? Okay, let us continue. So, you should play your martial top left. Also, do you guys don't have spells? God, bring a Bear Avalanche, isn't that common? Chain Lightning, Scratillery, Sunburn, I don't know, something. Next, you should use your Book of the Dead so that it comes back sooner. You can, I don't know, suck Drain Life, I guess, or just spawn more skeletons around the Malshar if you feel like it. There isn't much to do here. You could have played the Spirit also. Anyway, that Malshar was a waste. Oh my god, they have Vuk, you were right, Jackie, yeah, that's why. See how much they overpay on defense right there? That is just gonna die, that does nothing. If you play them at the back there in your pocket, then at least you will have the chance that the skeletons somewhat help something else, instead of being on their own and being murdered. That cleaver is far too early also. You have up to 10 mana in your bank and you have master towers that are capable of dealing damage. So be patient and let the threats reach your face before you handle them. Now poor Cleaver is getting murdered by Scotty. These property scratch are decent, by the way. But never was either of you in any risk of reaching 10 mana. The only risk is to reach 10 mana and leaking. By throwing away mana like that, it's like you leaked 4, 5, 6 mana. Be patient, let enemies reach you closer to your face. These crossbow dudes are fine, by the way, because they are ground units and that will finally step on the bridge. That second wave of proper scrats would not be needed if proper scrats on their own were worth anything. Now that's 6 mana's worth of crap that dies to a single Blastmancer, for example. Now you've added 3 more, that is 9 mana you put there. 9 mana worth of fragile ass units. You didn't need to play the Marines on top of all that. Look at the amount of propeller scraps, that is a lot of DPS. And crossbow dudes will stay on the bridge, that's enough. Meanwhile, what's happening bottom is good. The enemy are approaching and you're not playing into them, that's a good thing. Now here comes you guys' worst fear, right? Right about when he's here in Master Tower range. That is when you want to play swarmers around it. Maybe on this side. I would probably place all 3 on the one side. Then you place your Curse Bearer on the other side of it. All of that will kill it. If the enemy keeps reloading and reloading and reloading, it still takes 4 zaps to kill the Curse Bearer. They probably have to reload once after killing the Swarmers, then twice to kill the Curse Bearer, then thrice to finally shut him down. That has cost the enemy 6 mana total. See? I saw people in that... I need to lower the volume a bit. I saw someone in the Reddit thread be like, there's no way that a horde of skeletons or swarmers kills a Zappinator, he just chain lightning through everything. That's totally wrong. That's what fodder is for. You don't use your DPS. Cursebearer here is used as a DPS, so don't use your DPS to kill him. Also, I don't know what these Marines are doing. They're just helping a bit, I guess, but that's 3 mana's worth of crap. Yo, Spork. This should have been placed here. Or even better, around the Zappinator. One top, one above, one below, so that it takes 2 shots. Anyway, you should have played the Swarmers here and Cursebearer behind it. Elite Swarmer is not really a DPS, he's more of a low-cost tank. Oh look, at top lane meanwhile, they have paid 7 mana to shut down your 9 mana fragile units. Oh my god, you don't need to put Swarmers on top of the Elite Swarmer, on top of the Curse Bearer, on top of the Plasma Marines. You guys need to pay far less when defending. The Swarmers and a Curse Bearer would have been plenty. Then you added 5 more mana of useless fodder around that. So that's 5 more mana you won't have later on. Now, these mana chasers aren't great. They'll probably die to the Marine. Even then, it doesn't matter if they die or not. The only thing that matters is the bridges. You will end up with the bridges. That Jolo was fine because you avoided the defense though. And you're going for the bridge. Now you should just be patient. Look, there is one Grenadier, very small unit. You can guess the strength of a unit by their size in this game. Small ass unit, okay, it's about to be dead. You are literally killing it and you have 2,800 health left to play with. You don't need to pay 3 mana to deliver one single bit of damage to this Grenadier. This 3 mana right here is a waste. So don't do it. If you don't need to play something, don't play it. They didn't even shoot once. One of them just got killed also. Now you're probably gonna complain about Stixie being legendary. Alright, well this Elite Swarmer is just awful. What is he gonna do? He's never gonna kill all of those crats, especially not these two, or that flying unit, or that Jolo, so this again is a big ol' waste. 2 mana wasted because you don't want to let your Master Tower take any damage, or you don't want to let your Master Tower attack. And now it's dead, and now the skeletons are gonna die, and now the Tantrum Throwers are gonna die. Oh, nice Bear Avalanche by the way. Bear Avalanche is decent, but yeah. And now you play more. You played Elite Swarmer, Bear Avalanche, and 2 sets of Tantrum Thrower. I know one of them was maybe from APEP, but that is 10 mana, if I'm counting right. You just played 10 mana to barely even get a bridge, when all you needed was 2 mana to get that bridge. 1 Elite Swarmer would have done the job. You didn't need to pay 10. And now you played 13 and you still not have the bridge. And you still don't have the bridge. Now you played 15 and you have 1 bridge. There we go. Good job. You see now why it matters paying a proper amount of mana, being patient. With the 13 mana you just used, obviously the enemy is gonna have some mana to capture the bridge back. An important concept in this game is that each minion has a potential of DPS or damage they can deliver. That potential can only be realized whenever the minions have a target to apply that damage upon. If you don't place any unit, then the enemies don't have any target, so their DPS and presence is wasted. If you constantly feed units into the enemy, one after the other, to get murdered, then you are giving the enemy value. You are making them realize their value. You are making them apply their DPS. When all you need to do is let them hit face, play a 2-cost card on a bridge, and that's it. Luckily, Stixie didn't kill that. But he still probably would have died even if he had gotten his non-depressed kill. I don't know why you play Fanriel there. Just because there's a warrior with 80 health left on your face, you shouldn't play 8 mana just because, oh, I have mana for a big unit, I will play the big unit. You need to establish board control before you start thinking about that. Right now you should be resetting the board, waiting it out, and playing in the other lane, the one that doesn't have a threat in it, because an enemy threat, like I just said, if they don't have any target, then they cannot build upon it, because there's nothing to murder. If they do have a threat like that, they can build upon it, they already have a presence. Like, top lane is far more vulnerable. If the enemy has paid 5 for Scotty and you pay 8 for Fanriel, they soon will have something like, I don't know, stun lancers. They will have enough for an annihilator, they will have enough for a cannon roller, they will have enough for an assassin. That all murder Fanriel, and you will be struggling to help out the Fanriel while he gets murdered. Now, these skeletons, same deal as I had before. They should have been played top anyway. Now, you're just stacking everything up. You're trying to pierce through, that's fine. That's a good offensive here at least. Now, what the enemy could do here is totally wait until that hits face. Sure, they'll take a lot of damage, but they can then deal with it more easily than trying to tank everything with minions. What you should be doing right now is prepare a spell. I'm not sure if that's you who's targeting that. No, probably not. But what you do right now is you prepare a spell, you hover your spell over here where you think the enemy will be. You might even hold your left mouse button to make sure to send it as soon as possible. Now, this isn't really a real threat that can be managed with the spells you have here, so you should wait until they add a bit more. Big old beam here. That Curse Bearer was far too early. They can stop that Curse Bearer. And they should be getting top bridge soon. You don't need to play that Curse Bearer, you have the bridge, you can chill and wait. Although if you did have 10 mana, I would have suggested placing the Curse Bearer at the back, because you want to ensure that the Curse Bearer meets the Reckinator, yes. But you also want to ensure that by not placing it in a counterable way. Like the enemy could play, I don't know, lots of things here to kill that. Luckily it reaches the Reckinator. Also it will die and the Reckinator might capture the bridge also. So that Curse Bearer is just like, okay, here, there you go. I'm dealing damage to you. That Daggerfall was pointless, it didn't do anything. I don't know which one came first, the Malshar or the Defenso, but if it was the Defenso then you shouldn't have. Your teammate should play Rocket Scrat as soon as he can, because the timer only starts when you play the card, so play it at the front or at the back, it doesn't matter here. I would play it at the back to preserve both of its attacks, but make sure to play it. That's fine, by the way, double plays like that happen to everyone. But after playing that Zero Cost card, he's still leaking. I just saw him leak 1 mana there. And now he's leaking again. And now he finally played his thing. That Whirly does not counter a Defenso. You should not be afraid to let the Defenso hit your face. The Defenso Chopper does something like 18 DPS. It is miserable. You should have waited until that hits face, then the Whirly would have just walked on top of the bridge. You wouldn't pay 6 mana that gets instantly countered. Oh my god, what did I do? I may press the -10, I think.
Coming.
So that the Whirly was terrible, the Swarmers were terrible, that second Whirly was terrible. And now those Marines were far too much. Look here, you have paid 13 mana, once again, 13 mana, when all you needed was 3 or 2 or 4 if you want. You didn't need 13, all you needed was 2 to 4 mana. You wait until that hits face and then you place your units there. They kill the 2 scrats and move on. I wish you had Impetus Blast. With Impetus Blast you could be using it right behind the Stixie here, but I've bumped it into the Whirlies and it would have died. This Bear Avalanche is pointless. Spells are used for removal, to get value. They're used to deny a bridge. They're used to support a push, to disable an enemy's defense to allow your push to counter their counter. They are not used to stall the enemy, damage the enemy just because you feel like it, which is what you did here. Those propeller scrats were a waste. Again, they will just die to whatever is there. Let the enemy reach closer. It doesn't matter if you kill the enemy here on the bridge or next to your face. The enemy won't gain that much more XP from that, but you will gain a hell of a ton of mana difference. Now, what are you trying to achieve here? You know Zipp Zappinator is strong to kill medium units, and you send a medium unit on it with no DPS help to kill it. That won't work. Once again here, oh yeah, see, zero cost card being played fast, that's good, but play them at the back. You guys always play so far up next to the bridge. I don't think I've ever seen you at all play in the pocket. Playing in the pocket is like the most common way to build any sort of push when you're nearing 10 mana. You should only play at the bridge when you're either countering things that are about to stand on the bridge, or you're helping out a push in some way. See, that's exactly what they just did. Your Elite Swarmer, it will never pierce through this. There's a Stixie there, and a Grenadier. Obviously, they have a mental capacity to put some sort of tank in front of the Elite Swarmer. So your things are never gonna get through here. And now you play once again into the enemy. You give them one small unit to just get murdered by their assets that are on the field. You are throwing away your assets one by one, while feeding them value. That's a decent combo here. At least finally you're piercing through, but you didn't have to fight them at the bridge. Meanwhile, they are sitting comfortably on a red bridge, which means you are gaining 0 value from these fights. You are not contesting the bridge. By the way, they just played the Mana Chasers here, so that's a good Poison Strike target. This is not a good Poison Strike target. These units are very fragile and weak, extremely easy to defend, plus there's a shield totem here that you guys absolutely never use. You should use a shield totem, it's on a timer, it's free, fucking use it. Sorry. It is a wall that costs 0, so use it. Use it to tank units, use it to tank units on your face, or use it right next to the units to tank strikes while you kill them with marines. Poison Strike is bad here because you're using a spell defensively. You should not use spells defensively like that unless extremely critically. Unless you're in a very dangerous situation. Defensive spells are bad because spells barely trade up and you're not denying a bridge and you're not capturing a bridge. Plus poison doesn't even deal damage to bear. So yeah, this could have been dealt with by Patience, a Totem, and Bridge Buddies. Instead, you're wasting a spell. Oh, that wasn't a Chaser, that was a Poison Strike. But anyway, all of the stealth units are weak to Poison Strike, so it's always valuable to do so. Also, you played a big unit into a Zappinator, giving them value once again, and that's probably why you say that it's OP with the infinite Chain Lightnings. Alright, now you finally killed that Zappinator. How much did you dump into that? Elite 2, Curse Bearer 4, Fanriel 8. That is, mathematics. That is 14 plus the book plus I think something else. So you paid about 16 mana to finally maybe get on the bridge. Now Daggerfall, that was pointless. You just tickled the enemy. Daggerfall is only used to kill very small, fragile units, not medium, not anything higher than small. Oh my god, you got on the bridge. Now you paid another 4 mana to kill that. You did nothing but deal like 50 damage to a Stixie that was on face, which is when he has lost all of his value, no more presence on the board, he is on your face, therefore you can easily kill him with any sort of damage. Yeah. Alright, decent skeletons. Good thing backcapping isn't the thing anymore, or otherwise I would have to explain that. The skeletons, by the way, you could have split them up a bit. You could have sent like 2 of them up to the bridge so that you get the bridge sooner, but that's a bit advanced. Now, a Reckinator, oh my god, it's a legendary. What do? You put an Elite Swarmer up here, and then you put a Curse Bearer behind it. Cool. And then you maybe add Plasma Marines or another Swarmers to DPS down the bomb. And then that'll be no issue. You don't tank a big unit with your Curse Bearer. A Curse Bearer should be used like an assassin. You don't tank with your DPS. The Curse Bearer is the DPS. You don't let it die like that. Use your spongy boys, which are the Elite Swarmers. Now, you see these are like murdering you. So you're adding fragile units at the front to be murdered. That's not really the way to go. When you see something going that wrong, your first instinct should not be to, oh shit, I gotta add more units. It should be, oh damn, they are gonna pierce through, so let's defend that face. And then you use your Master Tower's attack in conjunction with minion tanking to kill them. Now here comes the overspending Poison Strike to kill a few fragile dead units that have already gotten all of their value. Now why do you play that Elite Swarmer? What is it gonna achieve?
The difference is you failed.
It won't even kill the Scrats. It won't even get the bridge. See here, they fucked up. That Defenso Chopper and the Scotty are vulnerable to a curse. They should have waited until the Curse Bear was away before they dumped all their high health units into it. So yeah, bad play by them. And they're letting their Scotty die, and they play the Veilstalker. See, they overcommitted hella also. They dumped so much mana there. This is the representation of how much you guys have wasted, I mean, trying to get through. Manifested in all of those. Now, what should you do? Instantly spawn skeletons that will die? Okay, cool. Even if the Veilstalker wasn't there, that would have been a bad play. You could reduce spells instead. I don't think I've seen you use anything but skeletons. Which, by the way, is fine, because skeletons have been the best uses. The skeletons, you should have put them at the top. You know Veilstalker is gonna kill them, you know Scotty's gonna kill them, you know they're gonna die to the defense though, so skeletons pointless here. That's a very unfortunate beam. I don't know why you played that Whirly there. That Whirly was gonna die to the exact same thing that just rolled through everything that you put there. You played into the enemy death ball, giving them value. Now, I hope you defend that elf with the totem and your cards, please. Please don't let your assets die on the board when you can save them. Now, you're panicking because of a Defenso Chopper. You should read the cards that you struggle against. A Defenso Chopper is not a threat at all. You ignore it and you laugh at him. He deals 18 DPS, that is nothing. It's one of the lowest in the game. It is the absolute lowest in the game compared to their mana cost. Plus you're playing a melee unit that will hurt itself upon it. Pretty useless. Now you are panicking very hard because there's a few very fragile and almost dead units on your face. Once again, you just placed 11 mana to defend a very non-threatening group of enemies. Those Property Scrats and those Marines were not needed. And you're continuing to play into a Stixie. Now you're using another spell defensively to kill very non-threatening units. Scrats are not a threat. Maybe Jolo there was a bit of a threat, but he was in Master Tower range and Marine range. It was totally dead. You didn't need to dump another 4 mana just to kill a few units. That Daggerfall was very poorly positioned. You should aim towards the back, not the front. The enemy aren't gonna be around your Marine at this point. You should aim towards the enemy side. Plus, the Daggerfall itself was a bad play. It wouldn't achieve anything. When you play a spell, you want to do what I said earlier. You want to deny a bridge, you want to gain value through mana costs, you want to deal damage to face along with those, or you want to turn around a push after the enemy has answered with a counter push, with a counter defense, I mean. Neither of which applied here. Now you're just putting more units. Just because it's free doesn't mean you throw it away. You can gain so much value from this magma cannon. Don't let it tank. And that Swarmer is not gonna push back the enemy. Look, the enemy are also human beings that are playing the game, by the way. So whenever you gain 5 mana, they also gain 5 mana. So if you keep dumping fragile units that die over and over and over to their threat, the enemy's just gonna have that much mana to also build up their push. You're just stalling them there. You need to let them through. So that's 5 more mana with the Marines and the Elite Swarmer. That's just gonna die. What do the enemy do during that time? They don't care, they have the bridge. They have 5 more mana. That's a full Scotty, that's a Zappinator on charge, that's a Blastmancer, that's so many things. And now, because you stall a lane and allow the enemy to dominate a lane, then you have nowhere else to push, because now they're massing up another push in another lane, and now you have literally nowhere to play. And now you are being forced to play your dragon, because that's pretty much the only thing in your hand that you can actually play. And you leaked 1 mana, by the way, and you're playing into the zipp. Oh my god. Of course you play it on the bridge, of course, why wouldn't you? So you play it right at the bridge, right in front of Zipp's Zappinator. The Zips will absolutely demolish that dragon. Meanwhile, the enemy has 10 mana to demolish this with. They can send stuff on top of that. And you played it at the bridge instead of at the back. So what does that leave you with? How much mana do you have left now? 2. You have 2 mana to help the dragon out. The dragon isn't there to murder everything and just breathe through everything and clear out the board and win instantly. The dragon is just like any other big unit. It is there as a slow push for later to lock down a lane in front of it, because the enemy doesn't want to play into it. So it controls the bridge by proxy in front of it. That's why you want it at the back, so that its presence stays there longer, its threat stays as longer, it locks down a lane. You also want to play it at the back so that, because it is a slow moving unit, whenever it finally reaches the bridge or a fight, you will have like 4 or more mana than you would if you played it at the bridge to support it. Then at that time you have 6 or 7 mana to put Marines, Propeller Scratch, Poison Strike, Blastmancer, Daggerfall, Crossbow Dudes, Curse Bearer. You can support your dragon there with somewhat expensive cards once again. But if you put it at the bridge like that to get countered and murdered, you have what, 2 mana? You can send some Propeller Scratch that will die to Crossbow Dudes on their side? That's not how you gain value from your dragon. Ah, look, it's the Propeller Scratch. Now we're dumping all our mana with the dragon to try to save a misplay. The enemy is stupid, by the way. The enemy could have been reloading their zip. And so it goes. So, maybe you should analyze each one of your plays instead of going on tirades on Reddit, calling the game legendary to win. Should I watch the others?
Masters, get ready!
Ooh, nice arena.
Let the fight commence.
Alright, I won't go into that much detail this time around, but I will point out gross mistakes.
Victory at all.
That's a decent first play. That's an okay answer to that, but Marines are weak. Well, I guess Marines are pretty much the best option to kill those, since Grenadier doesn't one-shot them anymore. Malshar. Alright, so what you do now, you play bridge buddies, get both bridges. Then you can defend with a Grenadier on the side at the bottom. Nice, good job. That's an overkill. You are accomplishing nothing with that. You are just sending a fragile unit to be murdered at the front. So yeah, total waste of an aimbot, 5 mana and 60 tech. Total waste. Meanwhile, you overpaid a bit on defense. I'm surprised that Harbinger took so much damage, but I guess it just got nerfed. Oh my god, Harbinger is so fast now, it's ridiculous how much they made it a non-noob stomper. Decent Vulture, I guess. You should save the vulture from the succubus here, not play at the back. Like, why is it that when you guys play at the front you shouldn't, and when you play at the back you shouldn't? By the way, good job playing the vulture at the back and like that. Good, good, good. Now you should have killed that succubus to save the vulture instead of letting your vulture die.
Blue unlocks their first perk.
Grenadier here, by the way, not mana chasers or anything else. Grenadier here. No, not that in the front. Now use your book because it's free. Screaming Scrat as soon as this goes. No, I would use Screaming Scrat here to blow up, to taunt a hit from the rammer next to face. Use your book to siphon life or place skeletons. Why the fuck are you playing so much bottom lane? It's a goddamn stun lancer. The cleaver didn't even need any help to kill them. That was a decent Screaming Scrat, by the way. Good use. Very rare that anyone gets any smart use out of Screaming Scrat, so that was good. Alright, don't play that, that's bad. Don't play spells defensively, use your book, it's free. And Curse Bearer kills that, so you don't need anything but a Curse Bearer, by the way. You could have tanked that with the Curse Bearer. This Brutus does no damage. So yeah, you should have put a Curse Bearer before Brutus hit face. You didn't need the bears, you could have put your skeletons to get the bridge. It's very funny how it's the two slowest attacking units and melee units in the game fighting a musketeer there. Nah, you're playing the wrong cards. That was okay, but you took forever to use your book, then the mana chasers for 5, then that for 2, that's 2. You paid far too much on defense here. Curse Bearer, a single Curse Bearer would have done enough. It's not about building your own cute pushes, it's about countering the enemy. Good siphon. Now, how do you handle a crack ghoul? No, no, no. Let it reach closer to face and then play your Jolo. You just dumped 8 mana to finish off an 8 mana card. Bad. Bad play. That is scary, by the way. I wouldn't really know what to do. So if you hadn't played that, a single Jolo was enough. You could place your Jolo there to keep the crack ghoul for later while Azog is fighting. Here, there in the corner of the arena, Jolo would have been fine. He would have kept crack ghoul waiting. Meanwhile, to kill that, you could have put something else, and there you tank with that fodder. You can slow it down with like a stint or marine just to sacrifice. That poor stint. That. Well, they fucked up. That was decent. Except no, it wasn't, because you didn't wait until the Annihilator was in Master Tower range. How do you deal with that? Oh my god, you don't have your Curse Bear anymore. That was a decent Poison Strike. You should drain. Good drain. Now, a Colossus, that's not a big deal. You put your Elite Swarmer behind him and you're fine. You don't need to spend a Chain Lightning on that, plus you're leaking. Stop leaking. They had an Assassin bottom. Play your Totem here. Good. Although, yeah, put your Totem. Even I would have made that mistake, but since it's Malshar, you want to put your Totem on the side, not giving him a value. That Elite Swarmer was bad. That thing is bad. You should aim the Amunt towards the enemy, not towards your tower. You're taking useless face damage. That's a flying unit. That's a big ground unit that if you place your flying units, they will panic, so you can bait them into playing. You shouldn't play so far out of the back here. You should have played them a bit closer so that they get more damage. Skeletons are fine on Mardred, but only to stall him, not to DPS him down. You should be cycling back to your Curse Bearer while waiting for Mardred to be closer. Then you put your Curse Bearer at the back with the skeleton surrounding it. Mardred will either one-shot or fear the skeletons and waste his time. Meanwhile, his support cannot arrive, because if Mardred is here next to your face, you can cut off the support with your own units. I don't know why I played an Elite Swarmer on the Musketeer. That was a decent use of a Totem. You're defending with it, good. Defending a fight, I mean. Now, I don't know why you play that. Mana Construct is not there to DPS anything down. That Jolo was good. Good use of Jolo. You're tanking it in front of your Master Tower. Unfortunately, he got the 15% chance to kill you, so that sucks. Oh, and now here comes the Ravager who spams big units on phase. You should ignore Terra Brutus until you have your Curse Bearer. Deal with everything else surrounding Terra Brutus and ignore him entirely. Next.
Minion Masters!
Damn, it must be fun to play pre-mades and have opponents of equal skill.
Welcome back to another exciting round of Minion Masters!
Alright, let's see. Boop bow. Instant bridge buddies means you need to instantly play a 2-cost card. You can play a Walking Blind Date also. Well, 2 or 3, I mean. Something that grabs a bridge. And, that could be a Bear Avalanche, by the way. You want to kill the Fire Imp and slow that down anyway, so you might get 1 more XP orb from it. I would have Bear Avalanche that as soon as I saw them. You know what? Bottom bridge, oh no. I don't know why you would play that. See, you're playing into the enemy threat again and you're wasting a ton of mana on spells. Their Walking Blind Date there was useless. I don't know why they cast that. Now you just paid 7 mana for a bridge. That's a bit much. Curse Bearer should be kept alive, not dumped alone on his own like that. Skeleton should be used to help, not dumped alone to die on their own like that. Stint should be there to help and not dumped alone to die on its own like that. Thiever should not be sent like that. He should have some sort of support. That was decent skeletons, good job. Now the Elite Swarmer was completely pointless. You guys were already gonna get the bridge. You don't need to add more. Stop adding more to nothing. Elite Swarmer at the top was also useless. You didn't have 10 mana, so don't play. That poison was bad. You're not gonna kill those. Spells are there for removal, not to slow down the enemy. Use your totem. Use a Curse Bearer. Oh, that was okay, I guess. Don't send units to die into them. Most of the things that die from Walking Blight, that spawn from that, will die to that. There's barely anything that can kill that. Now you send more mana on more mana on spells that don't do anything, and now you keep dumping more and more mana into their combo, which accomplishes nothing and only allows the enemy to gain more and more advantage. Finally, after like spending 25 mana, you get on the bridge. I don't know why you played that. Decent Curse Bearer, you stopped the stun, that was decent. That's all gonna die to the Scream, but it was the best option. That was a good Bear Avalanche because they had a lot of medium health units there. Your beam missed the actually threatening units. I don't know why you play into that. Stop playing. You're just stalling the enemy and accomplishing nothing. Okay, that's very funny that it was a ghost and it actually landed. What even killed you? Wait, must have been some thing. What is it called? Desync? Yeah. Ooh, 9 minutes. That's something.
Welcome to Minion Masters!
I bet they'll start with Bridge Buddies, the worst starting card.
Stand with me or despair.
Because no matter what the enemy does, every single 2-cost card beats them.
Another step towards
Play,
move.
play, play, good job. You should split Marines. Nah, never mind, I'm stupid. As soon as you see a swarm like that, you should play your wordy in that lane. You don't try to help out with proper scrats. Proper scrats are crap, they don't grab a bridge. Oh my god, the Marines. You guys play so much, you guys overplay so much. The problem is, you guys aren't playing noob cards. You guys are playing experienced cards, where most of their value comes from playing them well, with very precise timing and usage. Whereas most people in your brackets that I've seen play noob cards, which are expensive. Their value comes from their, well, stats. Like that tank there, that tank's way more than an elite swarmer and 2 marines, but it doesn't achieve as much if played differently. And I don't know, Arcanist, Veilstalker, Stixie, Defenso, Scott, all big flashy cards that it's easy to play those because you just dump them and then they do their thing, and the enemy misplays because you guys only have fragile cards that require a lot of patience and skill to use. That was one way to deal with that, I guess. Okay, they played Jahoon into a Curse Bearer. They are stupid, very, very much. They are giving you about 300, 400, 500 damage for free. That Daggerfall was pointless. That Bear Avalanche was pointless. Why didn't they split that? I don't know. Why did they send that? I don't know. Why did they send that against flying units? I don't know. Why the poison? That doesn't kill. You should have made sure to hit the arcane. Why do you play that when the Arcanist was there? Good munchers. See, the swarmers are enough to DPS down something. You don't need 14 mana to defend, you just need 2. It's that easy. Now, they're playing into your Curse Bearer. I see why this game takes 9 minutes, because they make that kind of plays. That was a decent cleaver, by the way, because you fought under your Master Tower. That fan rail was pointless, it was sent on nothing. The Avalanche was pointless, it didn't even hit anything. Even then, spells are there for, as I said, removal, dealing phase damage, denying a bridge, or denying a defense. They play into a Curse Bearer again. They play another time in the Curse Bearers. You guys play into the Arcanist and Blastmancer. You guys play into an Akinlep. Why? That Walking Blind is never gonna achieve anything against that Akinlep. There is a 0% chance that it does anything. Alright, they tank a cleaver with a tank, that's not smart. Or rather with a medium health unit, not smart. Beam, spell, too much mana. You guys are overpaying again. You guys are leaking mana. You guys are putting your dragon into a dragon. Alright, so the enemy plays their dragon first. That's a big misplay by them because, well, they didn't even kill anything with that dragon. They put it on the bridge like idiots. So, yeah, you should laugh at them. You should play your dragon into their dragon. Their dragon has a lot of potential damage, and you are just giving them a target for that. That's stupid. You should cycle to your... You should let the dragon hit face. Meanwhile, you idle in the opposite lane. Then when the dragon hits face, that's when you put a Curse Bearer next to it, and you forget about it. Then you grab the bridges, and that's it. Now you wait until they put mana on the board for you to play your dragon. It's not... You don't put your big unit like that to fight their big unit. They're holding the bridge behind and they have the same unit. You shouldn't play the same unit to kill the same unit. You should play lower cost units. Plus your dragon was bad. They didn't have any unit for the breath to target. Plus your Master Tower. The Master Tower isn't even attacking it. See, you're paying more than they did to kill something on your side while they hold the bridge. Complete misplay. That might have been the first good Daggerfall there. Let your Master Tower attack! You just paid 8 mana on spells to slightly tickle medium units and not even cap a bridge. Not a good use of 8 mana. Stop leaking. Now here comes Mana Frenzy. They have Blastmancer, so they're kind of ahead in terms of deck-wise, I mean. As a general note, I know it doesn't apply to this, but as a wow, how many Marines do you guys need? I see this a lot with people wildcarding things. Like if they're not able to get the full value from their card, they wildcard it so that they can pay 6 mana to get a mediocre output instead of 3 mana for a wasted output. During Mana Frenzy, I know it doesn't apply to this game, but during Mana Frenzy, if you're struggling a bit, you want to focus down on one bridge and while tickling the contest on the other bridge until you get back both bridges. Alright, cool, that's over. So, it was indeed a skill issue. It was not a card issue. So I hope you use a bit more introspection going forward. And by introspection I mean ask yourself if your play was worth it. Every single time you play a card, ask yourself if you got the value from it. There is a very easy general question you can ask yourself when playing every single card. It goes like this. It was what am I saying? I came up with this. It goes like this. Has my card killed equal or more mana's worth of units? And has it captured or denied a bridge? Most of your plays would say no to those two questions. I would say that either denying or grabbing a bridge is worth 1 mana. So if you're using a forecast spell to deny 2 bridges or 1 bridge while also killing a 2, 3, 4 cost card, then it's worth it. If you're using 8 mana on spells that just slow down and tickle the enemy, it's not worth it. That's about it. Farewell. Hello, I'm a bit curious. Hi, let's see what the question is. Oh my god, will we ever get their question? Okay, whatever, bye.